morning, everyone. Thank you for being here on this day. My name is Rocio Ramirez and I work for the Department of Social Services. We are here for an elder and dependent adult abuse awareness month press conference. We appreciate the time and the effort that you took out of your schedule to be here. I'm going to go through just a couple of things. You all might have picked up a folder that was in the entrance. It has an outline of our schedule and our program, which will be happening today. The press conference outline and the speakers, I will be doing some of those introductions. We have today here Mr. Ray Castillo, our chairman of the Board of Supervisors, doing welcoming remarks. I will be speaking, unfortunately, due to some unforeseen circumstances, Ms. Peggy Price will not be able to join us today. So I will be speaking on her behalf and the Department of Social Services on the Elder and Dependent Abuse Awareness Campaign, which is the reason for why we are gathered here today in honor of June 15th being World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Rosalina Blankenship, Public Administrator, Public Guardian Conservator, and overseeing the Imperial County Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program, is also here with us today. That will be speaking on elder abuse and resident rights in long-term care facilities. And we have Mr. Gilbert Otero, our Imperial County District Attorney, speaking on behalf of prosecution of elder abuse crimes and access to victim services. At the end after everyone speaks, we will provide an opportunity for media and for any questions that you might have for any of the individuals that are here providing information. So with that said, we will begin with our first speaker and our welcoming remarks, Mr. Ray Castillo, Chairman of the Board of Supervisors.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the County Board of Supervisors, I want to welcome you here this morning. And more importantly, the Board of Supervisors took action to declare June 15th Elder Abuse Awareness Month because we realize the importance of the public being aware that this is going on. First of all, I want to thank the media that is here because it's through the media that brings awareness to the public about elder and dependent care abuse in our communities. With the media's help, we'll be able to distribute this information and get it out and hopefully ultimately save a life. California presently receives more than 15,000 reports of elder and dependent abuse each month. And our concern is that it's increasing, but also elder abuse a lot of times is not reported. And that's an unfortunate matter, but hopefully with the media, the word gets out and make people aware that there is an agency you can report the elder abuse incidents and have the authorities step in and assist. So Imperial County agencies, of course, including the Department of Social Services, the Public Administrator and District Attorney, would bring this awareness to family members and also people in the community. And so as we do this press release this morning, you'll find out maybe how we can go about reporting some of these incidents. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Elder and dependent adult abuse is a serious and growing crisis in California and in the United States. 10,000 people every day are turning 65 in our country. Elder Abuse Awareness Day was launched on June 15, 2006 by the International Network for the Prevention of Elder Abuse and the World Health Organization at the United Nations in an effort to unite communities around the world in raising awareness about elder abuse. The day serves as a call to action for our community to raise awareness about abuse, neglect, and exploitation of elders and reaffirm our county's commitment to this issue. The Department of Social Services launched a campaign with assistance from the California Office of Emergency Services as we're using this day to help bring awareness in our county in collaboration with various partner agencies present here today, such as the Imperial County Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program, Public Administrator and Guardian, and the Imperial County District Attorney's Office and Victim Witness Program. We believe that when we come together, we can prevent elder abuse from happening. We can put support services in place and direct community resources towards addressing elder abuse. Our county is here to reaffirm our commitment to help create a structure of support that will benefit us all as we get older. As Mr. Castillo mentioned, in California, APS receives more than 15,000 reports every month, and the reports continue to increase. There are an estimated of 184,500 cases of reported elder abuse per year in California alone. Elder abuse is a significantly underreported issue. For every case known to programs and agencies, 24 are unknown. For financial abuse, only 1 in 44 cases is known. Reports of all types of elder abuse are on the rise. The purple flags that you see outside of this building represent the total number of cases of elder abuse perpetrated by others reported to the Imperial County Adult Protective Services in 2017. There were 616 new cases that were investigated by the APS agency, and 154 reports of elder abuse investigated by the Imperial County Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program in facilities. In the last 5 years, Imperial County Adult Protective Services has had about a 58% increase in case investigations in Imperial County. We know that many victims fail to reach out for help because they feel ashamed that something has happened to them. Some of them are afraid to be placed in a long-term care facility and want to remain in their homes, and others want to protect their loved ones that may be the person that's causing that harm. And some just feel intimidated or scared to say anything. That's why we're here today. We want to raise awareness, and we want people to know how to identify and what to look for and what elder abuse actually is. Elder abuse is defined, an elder person is defined by Welfare Institution Code as a person residing in the state of California at the age of 65 or older, who is those individuals. When an APS report is made, those are the cases that we may open up. In terms of adult protective services, in case we investigate in California, it also includes dependent adults, which are individuals that are over the age of 18 that might have a disability that doesn't allow them to carry out their normal daily activities. Elder abuse is the intentional act of or failure to act by a person who knows a person is an elder or dependent adult and causes or creates harm either through physical, sexual, emotional, financial abuse or neglect. In the state of California, Adult Protective Services investigates 8 types of abuse, and that is self-neglect, physical abuse perpetrated by other people, neglect by others, sexual abuse, financial abuse, mental and emotional abuse, abandonment, and isolation. Recognizing the signs is the first step towards the prevention of elder and dependent abuse. We know there are hundreds of thousands of people across the state who are not getting the help they need. As you see here and in your folders, there are some information on how to help you recognize and not miss those signs of abuse. The No Abuse and Report Abuse campaign is to recognize when our older abuse, is to be able to recognize and remind everyone to be able to look out for your community and look out for those that are around you. And the next crucial step is to make that report to the agencies that can bring some help or initiate the investigation. We know that many times one type of abuse leads to another, and victims often suffer from multiple forms of abuse in the hands of their abuser. It is important to help recognize those signs and know where to reach for help. Adult Protective Services responds to reports from individuals, concerned citizens, social service, health providers, and law enforcement agencies on any for elderly or disabled individuals who may be physically, financially neglected or exploited. Upon receipt of a referral or a report, Adult Protective Services sends a social worker to do a home visit and make contact with these individuals and provide either that immediate assistance that they may need or cross-report to the appropriate law enforcement agency if there's a need of a criminal investigation to be launched. The Adult Protective Services Agency investigates the abuse in the community. It also helps coordinate services by leading multidisciplinary efforts, of which some of those members that are part of those multidisciplinary efforts are here today, to help coordinate services in those complex cases that are represented. Elder abuse is an issue with many consequences for our society. Its effect on our communities range from public to economic issues. Imperial County is committed to continue to coordinate its efforts to address the issue by strengthening our social supports through policy, services, and programs. We will continue to advocate to provide safe spaces that will allow older people to build relationships and participate in the work, play, and life of our neighborhoods. We will continuously look for new and better ways to arrange and coordinate teams, agencies, and services that work specifically for victims of elder and dependent abuse. We will continue to reach out to educate families and professionals who work with older adults to understand the importance of prevention, isolation, how to spot the warning signs of abuse, and what to do to address abuse and neglect. We will continue to work towards improving our access to victim services and being there when needed and where needed. We will continue to advocate to hold those accountable for causing such great pain to those of our most vulnerable. By doing all this, we can strengthen the social support structure, we can reduce social isolation, protect communities and families against elder abuse, and build a community that lives up to this promise of our justice. This campaign is a statewide effort to increase awareness of abuse. Our collective hope is that the increased awareness will result in increasing reporting of suspected abuse, not only in the month of June, but for years to come. To capture the goal of that campaign, we will continue to use the following slogan of no abuse, report abuse. You will be seeing billboards and several public service announcements throughout the rest of the month. We want to continue to remind everyone that together we can make a difference and ensure that we can take care of those who have taken care of us. Through education, recognition, and reporting, we can make a difference in the lives of elders and dependent adults around the state, and especially in the county of Imperial. Now we will hear a few words from Rosalina Blankenship on elder abuse and resident rights in long-term care facilities.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. Rosie Blankenship, Public Administrator, Guardian Conservator, Area Agency on Aging, Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program Director. Again, thank you. Elder abuse, as we know it, is widespread. However, unfortunately, it is a hidden problem that we deal with day in and day out. We just heard the numbers that are reported in our local community. Nationwide, the numbers continue to increase. We've heard that 1 out of 25 go unreported. 1 in financial exploitations goes where you have 44 that go unreported. Those numbers are alarming, and we should be concerned because most of the abuse comes from their caregivers, a lot of times from family members, those that they consider to be their loved ones. Under the Older Americans Act, we were very fortunate to receive a mandated requirement for long-term care ombudsman program. The state of California acknowledged the importance of it and passed the California Americans Act, which in turn provided a provision for state long-term care ombudsman. In the state of California, long-term care ombudsman receives a minimum of 42,000 complaints. That's one too many. In our community, long-term care program receives 230 complaints just last year. Of those, 87 were considered cases, were investigated, and resolved to the satisfaction of the resident or the complainant. It's very important that we take action. In our community, we are very fortunate to have 1 staff member and 3 volunteers that have stepped up and said, this is important to us. I'm gonna get trained. I wanna protect rights of our elderly population in nursing facilities. So our ombudsman representatives, what do? They assist with related issues, day-to-day issues such as health, safety, maintaining their dignity, their legal rights, and their personal preferences. We need to ensure that the individual's rights are not violated when it comes to physical, verbal, mental, or financial abuse, poor quality of care, dietary concerns, medical care, issues with their Medicare or Medi-Cal benefits, improper discharges or transfers, inappropriate use of chemicals or physical restraints, or even resident-to-resident aggression. When talking to the elderly in the long-term care facilities, one of our largest complaints is fear of retaliation. Now remember, these are the most vulnerable adults living in nursing facilities where they have many times no one to represent them. Many of them isolated from their families because their families don't come around to see them for one reason or another. They're ones that need help. And fortunately, we have the Ombudsman program that is there to help them, to advocate that for them, not only locally, but statewide. We're part of a national association that advocates nationwide as well, bringing new law to protect them because they need to be protected. They served here in our country, many of them raised children and led great lives. And unfortunately, due to ailments or things beyond their control, ended up in a nursing home. I cannot overemphasize the fear of retaliation that they have. So we need to ensure that when we see things that we report, that we not stand still and say, oh, so-and-so will do it. Report. Make sure that things are being taken care of. Follow through. Elder abuse, particularly when it involves a patient in a residential care facility, it's really difficult to detect. But if we're vigilant, watching, is there any bruises? Have they lost weight? Is there appearance of possible malnutrition, dehydration? Look at their skin. Is it supple? Those are the things that we need to be looking out for. Talk to them, ask questions, listen, be a part of them for that moment. We have 9 facilities that we oversee in our community, 3 skilled nursing facilities and 6 residential care facilities. Very involved with 476 beds. And you know what? It's not enough. We need more beds, we need more facilities, we need more areas where we can have seniors that are protected. We need to continue our advocacy with the state to provide tax credits to developers so they can look into building more in our communities. So it's feasible for them, so that in turn, our people, our elderly population, have a place to be safe in. According to the United States Census Bureau, in the year 2030, that will mark an overwhelming amount of seniors in our nation, where every single baby boomer will be over the age of 65. In the year 2035, we will make history with our elderly population. For the first time ever, seniors will be the largest population when compared to the children population. 78 million compared to 76 million. And we are ill prepared to meet the growing demand of our senior population. We need more nursing facilities. We need more ombudsmen to be out there advocating for those rights. All of these changes are going to have significant impacts. We can't just sit still and do nothing. We can't just be aware of the situation. We need to take action and keep things going. Residents have rights. Federal law gives them the opportunity to be free from neglect, free from abuse, free from exploitation and misappropriation of their property. All nursing homes are required to give notice, posting so that anyone walking in that facility knows that there's an ombudsman, knows that there's a phone number and an address of where you can go to file your complaint. All of that is kept confidential. It's dealt directly with the ombudsman and investigated, and if need be to be reported to the state, it's done directly between the two. I don't even know what those are, because that's how confidential these situations are. And they are to be resolved at the satisfaction of the resident or the complainant. They have the right to be fully informed, the right to complain, the right to participate, the right to privacy and confidentiality, the right to know during transfer and discharge, the respect of freedom, the rights to visitors, the rights to make independent choices. We have volunteer opportunities, and we want to encourage you, those that may be interested, take a chance, come, see what we see, hear the stories that we hear. They're very touching. So we welcome you. Come. Visit our office at the Area Agency on Aging Long-Term Care Ombudsman, 778 West State Street in El Centro. Our contact number is 442-265-7032. We have competent staff to help you and your loved one. And remember, take care of those who once took care of us.
Up next, we have Mr. Gilbert Otero, Imperial County District Attorney, on prosecution of elder abuse crimes and access to victim assistance program.
Good morning, everyone. You know what, Chairman Castillo and all the other speakers made a comment. He started by talking about the children, how we have child protective services, and now we have adults. And I think that the major problem that we have, and this is a personal belief that I have, is the moral breakdown of the family. But we have parents that don't take care of their children, and we have children that don't take care of their parents. And that's where the problem is. We can ask the press to put everything out in the world to make it known. But unless we get involved and start reporting these type of things, what good does it do? You can put billboards all over Imperial County. But if you choose not to get involved, if you choose not to report someone because they might be your brother or relative or someone that you like, then you know you're as bad as the perpetrator. And people look at my office, they say, well, you haven't prosecuted this. Well, we don't prosecute cases that don't come into the office. And you might say, well, everybody knows this is happening. We don't go and prosecute based on what people think that they know and what we all know. We go and prosecute based on the evidence presented to my office. Now, there's all kinds of abuses, and this is the problem that we have. We need to be vigilant and looking out for that person who doesn't let their parent visit other members of the family. How many times have you seen that? Hey, how's mom and dad doing, or whatever? And they won't tell you, or you can't go to the house. They change the locks. You know, mortgage fraud is one of the biggest problems that we have. How many times hasn't a parent died and all of a sudden everybody finds out that the house was transferred to a brother or sister without anybody knowing? Why? Because we all sit back, because that brother and sister is taking care of our parent, and we, you know, as normal people would think, well, we know that they're doing it for the betterment of our parents. No. You know, we can't be that trusting. Just like I tell people that whose business are embezzled by their trusted employee. You know, they embezzle from you because you put your guard down, because you're not vigilant in protecting what's yours. And you as a child need to be protective of your parents, and those that you love, because they are the most vulnerable. They become children. The Bible even says that. So, you know, we need to be vigilant. And this is another thing. I've been working, this hasn't materialized yet, but I'm working with some doctors. And we're going to start concentrating on convalescent homes. Because that's where some of the problems are. Because they come in with problems and they go home with problems. And this is where we need to take care of these things, and that's what we're doing. I don't go around boasting and telling everybody what we're trying to do. Just like trying to tell a crook, hey, we're looking at you, and you keep on doing that, we're going to get you. It's not going to happen, okay? But we have people that are assigned to the Adult Protective Services that prosecute, that investigate cases. And we don't shy away from investigating cases. But the problem is that if you don't get involved, if the public doesn't get involved, we can't help you. All you have to do, you don't even have to call the lines that the numbers that they're putting up there. Call the police department. They have a duty to investigate. Or in that case, they'll call Rodrigo there, my investigator. Or we have victim witness services in our office that handle these types of things. You know, we're creating we're working with the Department of Social Service for the Family Justice Center. So we go one place, people can handle all the problems they have. But you need to get involved. Us up here, we can't do it for you. You know, we could talk about statistics all we want, but if we don't get involved, those statistics are going to rise, and they are. And I just said, you know, in my office, you know, what's it going to take for you to get involved? For your parent to be murdered by a loved one or a caretaker, or that elder person? No. Get involved now. Be vigilant. Look for the little signs. Those signs are spoken by Rosie and Rocio. Look at those signs now. And go with your gut too. You know if one of your siblings or a caretaker is doing something wrong. Look at your parents. Talk to your parents. Just like we have a breakdown where parents don't talk to the kids, we don't talk to our parents. So, you know, I can tell you everything we're going to do. It doesn't make any difference if you don't report it. So I think that for us to be effective, we have to be involved. And, you know, don't just say no, you know, or no abuse, report abuse. It's just like everything else. We can't do it unless we know about it. We can't do anything about it unless we know about it. So thank you very much, and I applaud Peggy's department and Rosie's department for everything they do in trying to bring awareness to this. And it's these types of venues that is going to bring awareness. But it's more importantly, it's going to be the people at home that is going to make this epidemic stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Otero. And now, if there's any questions from the media that you might have, or this is the time that we are available.
What Director Channel 13? What are some of the most common examples of elderly abuse?
In your packet, you will find a little fact sheet in Imperial County Facts. My name is Rocio Ramirez, and I'm with the Department of Social Services. And speaking specifically on adult protective services in our local area of abuse perpetrated by others, some of the biggest types of reports that we get are related to neglect as well as financial abuse reports. As Mr. Otero said, a lot of times it's very difficult to prove some of these crimes. It's not as easy, but we do look into it when we do get a report. It's also important to mention that when you do make an Adult Protective Services report, unless you're a mandated reporter, those that call in, you can make a report anonymously. An Adult Protective Services worker will go and initiate an investigation. If there's reason to believe that this could be true, then it's cross-reported to law enforcement to take on a criminal investigation and then continue on with the process and whether it makes it to the district attorney's office for a full prosecution. But neglect and financial abuse, and throughout the state, financial abuse is the one that's on the rise.
One more question. So when a person is convicted of an elderly abuse crime or incident, would that be considered a felony or a misdemeanor?
It all depends on the facts of the case. It could be a felony or it can be a misdemeanor. That's one of those vague questions that like you say, oh yeah, everything we're going to prosecute is a felony, and then when it comes to our office, we say, oh no, this is a misdemeanor. So no, give her up, that was a liar. So it all depends on the it all depends on the facts of the case and what you're being charged with. Simple neglect sometimes might just be a misdemeanor, where financial crimes over a certain amount of money could be a felony. So it all depends.
Sir, one more question. I'm sorry, Mr. Otero. So the district attorney's office has been in the spotlight lately, accused of not following certain cases to their strength, to their full strength. Sir, is the district attorney's office going to follow up on elderly abuse cases with all its full strength?
Yeah, I'll be stupid to say no, huh? That's the first I've heard of that. But we follow every case that we're able to follow as allowed by the law. We have an ethical duty to do those things that are, follow only a case that we can prove beyond reasonable doubt. And we follow a case, we'll go full bore. And what people don't understand is that it's up to the judge to determine what the sentence is. It isn't up to us. All right? And if you notice that the judges' races are pretty quiet and dull because, they're not going to tell you how they feel because they can't. Because it violates their code of canons, their ethical duty. But for us, people can say all they want and say we're not doing our job. That could be nothing further from the truth. Ask those people that are going to prison to say that we're too hard on them and we're doing our job. Okay, so that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Well, again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for our speakers and those that shared a few words in support and your continuous collaboration. Thank you for everybody that's here in the audience, not just the media, that's here in support of creating awareness and sharing the word of, creating a safety environment for our elderly population, our dependent adults as well. So as we once again just want to mention, no abuse, elder abuse, the Imperial County Adult Protective Services has a 24-hour hotline. The number is 760-337-7878. Again, that's 760-337-7878. 24 hours a day, every day of the week, it's available, and we'll take a report from anyone, whether it's anonymously or you want to disclose more information. Thank you very much. Have a great day.